Before we begin, I want to remind you that if you love comics and pop culture as much as I do, you'll subscribe to my channel and ring the bell to stay informed of upcoming videos. Please share this video, as that will help me gain subscribers as well. I also want to remind you to check out my columns and reviews on two sites, Comics for Sinners and Comic Crusaders. I also have my own franchises, Adolescent Radioactive Samurai Platypi and Carl Vincent Vampire Hunter. The latter has been picked up by Cutthroat Comics. Check the links below for more details and the link to Dracula Rising, which is available on Amazon. Here's some great artwork from Raphael Lanohouse from the origin story Foul Blood. Once again, available on Cutthroat Comics. See the links below. I also have a book which is a collection of my reviews and columns called Comics, Pop Culture, and Politics. You can also find t-shirts and posters on Teespring. Again, check the links below for all Carl Vincent Vampire Hunter merchandise. And now,
on with the show, this is it.
Thank you, Kevin. One film I forgot to mention in the last show was Buck and the Preacher. So, before we look at Poitier's made-for-TV films, let's talk about Buck and the Preacher. Buck and the Preacher is a 1972 American Western film released by Columbia Pictures, written by Ernest Kinoy and directed by Sidney Poitier. Poitier also stars in the film alongside Harry Belafonte and Ruby Dee. This is the first film Sidney Poitier directed. Vincent Canby of the New York Times said Poitier showed a talent for easy, unguarded, rambunctious humor missing from his more stately movies. This film broke Hollywood Western traditions by casting black actors as central characters and portraying both tension and solidarity between African Americans and Native Americans in the late 19th century.
We want this Buck. We want him bad. You tell us where he is, it's $500 to you.
The notable blues musicians Sonny Terry, Brownie McGee, and Don Frank Brooks performed in the film's soundtrack, composed by jazz great Benny Carter.
We gonna just ride and sometime walk in their bank and just take it, huh? That's right. You're crazy.
Set in the late 1860s in the Kansas Territory shortly after the American Civil War, Buck and the Preacher follows a former soldier named Buck as he leads wagon trains of African Americans from Louisiana west to the unsettled territories of Kansas. In order to ensure safe passage and food for his company, Buck negotiates with the Native Americans in the area. He pays them, and in turn they allow him to kill limited numbers of buffalo to eat, and to pass through their land providing they do it quickly.
You shoot that rifle, boy, and we're dead.
Blessings on this house. I am the Reverend Willis Oakes Rutherford of the High and Low Order of the Holiness Persuasion Church.
Will you get him out of my house? I got my reputation to think of.
I'm Buck. I put my faith in the good Buck.
In 1951, black children in the South were shackled by discrimination.
Separate but Equal is a 1991 American two-part television miniseries depicting the landmark Supreme Court desegregation case Brown v. Board of Education, based on the phrase separate but equal. The film stars Sidney Poitier as lead NAACP attorney Thurgood Marshall, Richard Kiley as Chief Justice Earl Warren, Burt Lancaster, in his final television role, as lawyer John W. Davis. The issue before the United States Supreme Court is whether the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution mandates the individual states to desegregate public schools, that is, whether the nation's separate but equal policy heretofore upheld under the law is unconstitutional. The issue is placed before the court by Brown v. Board of Education and its companion case, Briggs v. Elliott. Many of the justices personally believe segregation is morally unacceptable, but have difficulty justifying the idea legally under the 14th Amendment. Marshall and Davis argue their respective cases. Marshall argues the Equal Protection Clause extends far enough to the states to prohibit segregated schools. Davis counters that control of public schools is a states' rights issue that Congress never intended to be covered by the 14th Amendment when it was passed.
This is 1952.
People are used to living and doing things a certain way in our part of the country.
Nearly 100 years.
You can't expect people to change overnight. Feelings run too deep.
I believe it's wrong. Wrong for 9 men in Washington to tell a man in South Carolina who his daughter ought to sit next to in school. I'm going to take this case, and I'm going to win it.
There will be hostility and probably reprisals, but the law is on our side. No state shall deny any person the equal protection of the law.
Separate but equal. A Republic Pictures production.
Children of the Dust is an American Western television miniseries based on Clancy Carlisle's 1995 novel of the same name, featuring an ensemble cast led by Sidney Poitier. In the Oklahoma Territory of the late 1880s, Gypsy Smith, Poitier, is a bounty hunter of African American and Cherokee descent. Smith helps African American homesteaders to settle the territory under the specter of Jim Crow. Meanwhile, a young Native American raised by whites, Worth, must choose between the woman that he loves or his Cheyenne heritage.
He went outside the law.
What the town needs for the job is a killer.
And delivered justice from his holster.
I've been talking. With my guns.
It's Gypsy Smith. Make a run for it now.
Let's go get him.
There's 2 more posses on the way.
You'll never see me again.
I know.
Sidney Poitier, Michael Moriarty, Joanna Going, Billy Worth, and special appearance by Farrah Fawcett.
It's a good day to die!
To Sir, with...
In the case of accused number 1, Nelson Mandela, the sentence is life imprisonment.
Mandela and de Klerk is a 1997 made-for-television drama film written by Richard Wesley and directed by Joseph Sargent. The film stars Sidney Poitier and Michael Caine. The film documents the negotiations between F.W. de Klerk and Nelson Mandela to end South African apartheid, and was nominated for numerous awards in 1997 and 1998. It originally premiered on Showtime on February 16, 1997.
Every day, the cells of your jails grow more and more crowded with angry and defiant young men
whose beliefs shook the world.
Time has come for our nation to take a new course.
Don't trust them.
And change the course of history.
The time for negotiation has arrived.
And our whole nation totters on the brink of disaster.
Who are you to accuse me of?
That is true, isn't it?
Academy Award winner Sidney Poitier, Academy Award winner Michael Caine, and Tina Lifford of Babe, Grand Canyon, and Colors. In the powerful film critics are calling riveting, potent, and poignant, Poitier's performance as Mandela is breathtaking, and Michael Caine shines. The scenes between these 2 acting pros are a delight to watch.
Must you fight me on every issue? Must you, Mr. President?
Mandela and de Klerk.
The next made-for-TV film from Poitier is David and Lisa. Lucas Haas portrays David, a withdrawn but apparent near genius, who fears being touched. Brittany Murphy plays Lisa, a young woman seemingly suffering from split personalities who speaks only in rhymes and withdraws from anyone who doesn't speak to her likewise. Meeting in the psychiatric ward, the two's eyes lock and an obvious attraction is indicated. First, each must learn to approach each other in their own sphere. Enter Sidney Poitier as a caring psychologist who helps David to come to terms with his emotional failure to deal with his father's death at an early age. Debbie Mazar also appears as Lisa's caseworker. The Simple Life of Noah Dearborn is a 1999 made-for-television film. This movie stars Sir Sidney Poitier as the title character, a rural Georgia carpenter, Noah Dearborn. George Newbern plays a developer trying to force Dearborn off his land. He tries to enlist the help of his psychologist girlfriend, played by Mary Louise Parker, a move which backfires badly. Newbern's character tries to have Dearborn declared mentally incompetent. The effort fails, mostly because of the efforts of Parker's character, who realizes why Dearborn is held in esteem by his neighbors.
We're prepared to offer you $300,000 for your land.
Don't mean to be disrespectful, but this land's not for sale.
The world closed in on him.
Well, we know he's incompetent.
If he's deranged, I'll get him out of there.
We're gonna have to fight this.
A man has to fight for something that belongs to him in the first place. Don't seem right.
Now,
we have a lot of questions to ask you.
I don't have much to say.
Noah Dearborn.
Where is he?
He's being properly evaluated.
Will have to fight to protect his way of life. Trimark Home Video proudly presents Academy Award winner Sidney Poitier, Mary Louise Parker, George Newbern, and Academy Award winner Diane Wiest in an inspiring motion picture about an extraordinary man who touched the lives of everyone he met.
When was the last time you had a really good day?
Today.
The Simple Life of Noah Dearborn.
19 Poitier's last year-old. And that was the final film role for Sidney Poitier. We hope you enjoyed this look at the prolific career of this awesome Oscar award-winning actor. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe to my channel and click the like button to stay informed of future programs. What was your favorite Sidney Poitier movie? Let us know in the comments section below. Thank you for joining me, and I'll bring you another show soon.